Brioche is buttery and rich. It's a bit like bread, but also a bit like pastry or cake. And now that you know how to make the brioche dough and bake the classic style, we can move up a level and make a Tarte Tropezienne. This is a dessert, a vanilla pastry cream that is sandwiched in between brioche layers. So let's start with the pastry cream component. I'm going to measure a cup of 2% milk. I'll get the milk heating on medium. I'll infuse the flavor of half a vanilla bean. So this tart was named by Brigitte Bardot, who would come into this French bakery in Saint-Tropez, France, and eat this dessert every day. And it didn't have a name at that point. It was a new creation of the pastry chef, and so she called it the Tarte Tropezienne. Whisk in the seeds, let that vanilla flavor infuse. I'm going to make this pastry cream using 1 whole egg, and then the yolk of an egg, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. And to thicken it, I'll add 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. Just whisk this together. I can see that the milk is just starting to simmer, so it's ready to add. I'll just add it gradually while whisking. Add the entire mixture back to the pot, then return it to medium heat, whisking constantly until the cornstarch thickens up, turns nice and glossy. I scrape this through a strainer over 2½ tablespoons of butter. The coolness of the butter halts the cooking of the pastry cream, so it'll stay nice and smooth. Cover it so that the surface of the plastic wrap sits right on the pastry cream itself. That way you avoid getting the dreaded pudding skin. I have one that's already cooled completely to room temperature. And since I'm baking with brioche, I figure let's enrich everything. I want to add an additional 1/4 cup of butter. I'll just soften it up a little bit. And I'll take my cooled but not yet chilled pastry cream. Now that I've got the butter smoothly worked into that first spoonful, combine it fully. Now that the pastry cream has cooled down, you don't have to have the plastic wrap directly on the surface to avoid getting the dreaded pudding skin. This is the same brioche recipe that I made and baked in the classic tins, but now for the Tarte Tropezienne, it takes a different style. To achieve a nice 9-inch cake, I'm going to roll out the brioche dough. I'm baking the brioche just flat on a baking tray. It's still cold, so it has to proof for an hour and a half before it's ready for the oven. I have one already proofed, and you really can see how it's risen up. Gently brush it with that egg wash. Because this isn't a terribly sweet dessert, it can take a little sprinkle of sugar on top. This is a special baking sugar. It's called pearl sugar. You can purchase pearl sugar at specialty food stores, but if you can't find it, all you have to do is take a few sugar cubes, about 5, put them in a resealable bag, crush them lightly, and sprinkle that on top. This is ready for the oven, which has been heated to 350, and it takes 20 minutes to bake. Look at that beautiful golden brown color. And I love how the pearl sugar stays on top to add that nice little crunch. But of course, within is that soft, delicate, buttery brioche. This one has already cooled down, so now I can assemble it. And as if adding a little extra butter to the pastry cream wasn't enough, I'm also going to enrich it with a little whipped cream, 1/3 cup. This dessert may not taste too sweet, but it certainly is rich. Now, to prepare the tart, I just slice it open horizontally. Using a bread knife is best. That like a bread, anything baked with yeast is best eaten on the day it's baked. You've got that buttery brioche, the pastry cream filling with the vanilla bean speckles throughout it, the crunchy top to the Tarte Tropezienne. It's no wonder that Brigitte Bardot wanted to eat it every day.